So Tim, who's your favorite supplements company?
I know it's hard to tell, but I'm that guy that got sponsored and just didn't know how to act about it. I'm like a Trevor Wallace video come to life. Bucked Up, baby. Bucked Up is our first official sponsor. They make excellent products. We got some pre-workout here. We got some BCAAs, got some pump. This giant ass thing next to my head is protein, which is delicious. And
the size of your head.
No, it's amazingly. I do have a big head. For those of you who have not seen the YouTube, I have a fucking huge head. Bucked Up was kind enough to find a hat that could A, fit my head, and B, send me this protein thing that's 3 times the size of my head. So
yeah, and for our audio only listeners, Tim currently is wearing. All right, so we got a Bucked Up hat, we got a Bucked Up shirt, we got Bucked Up Heat, we've got Bucked Up BCAAs, and Bucked Up meal replacement, and a Bucked Up pump. So, he's not wasting any time. Neither should you guys. The code is capital T, capital A, capital N, capital D, capital T, 20. That's TANDT 20. Tim,
summer is coming, y'all.
Summer is coming.
Get these Bucked Up products. Let's all be looking fantastic at the beach this summer. And code TANDT 20, TANDT 20.
And you can even get a hat to cover up your bald head like Tim is. Thank you so much. Buy some Bucked Up. It's great. Now, Tim, when you go to the gym, what's the most important thing to bring with you?
Other than water, I would say pants are good. Pants are really solid. Shorts if you got them.
Yeah.
And a very comfortable shirt.
So other than water, we got pants or shorts, shirt. Where do you get your pants, shirt, shorts from?
Well, as of this week, we have a second sponsor who I buy stuff from, Tony. I'm glad you asked me, unprovoked, just out of the blue.
Yeah, and now you're yelling into my ears. So I very much appreciate that.
Turn down your volume. You'll be all right. We both now purchased our gym equipment exclusively from Tydal. That is not the Field Music Company. This is a different company. It's spelled TYDAL.
It's a much more successful, much better run company.
Well, they are sponsoring us, so we'll see about that. But yeah, Tydal. They have stuff for men and women. Tony and I both got some giant hoodies.
We did.
On the way. We got some shorts. Got some shirts coming.
We did.
Did you get any joggers, or am I making that up?
I didn't get any joggers yet, so I'm going to make another purchase with all the douchey cut off and tank stuff, and the joggers will be in that purchase. I felt like it was good to, keep separation of church and state on that one.
I like it. But yeah, Tydal. People underrate gym outfits, I think. It's gone too far. People used to say that it was too overrated. Now it's too underrated. You need a good gym outfit so that you're motivated to get in there and get your shit done.
Absolutely. And what company again would you say, fits that description?
Only Tydal.
Tydal.
It's the only gym, it's the only gym company, only gym apparel company that you will ever need. But Tony.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all well and good that we talk about our favorite, company that sends us stuff.
Absolutely.
Can the people get a discount for this stuff is what I'm concerned about.
That's funny that you asked him, because we have a second promo code, everybody. Now, we went ahead and tried to make it as easy as possible for everybody to remember. So forgive me if you've heard this promo code before. There's a little change at the end, though, so I want you to be prepared for that. So it's TANDT, but then it's 15.
Mm-hmm.
That's because you get 15% off from Tydal Wear, and it's Tydal Wear. So TYDAL and then space WEAR. TydalWear.com. You go there, you type in that promo code, capital TANDT 15. You get 15% off. You get to support us, and then you get more free content from us, because we don't make you pay for this. This isn't behind a paywall.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. This pod's free, people.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So go on there, buy your stuff. You won't regret it.
All right, everybody. Welcome into the Tim and Tony podcast. It's my turn. Tony, we've been pretty desperate for money in our day. We've done some weird things for money.
Oh, Jesus.
We don't have to go into this on the pod.
Okay.
The going rate for a sperm donation is $300, give or take.
Really?
What would it have to get to for you to take a serious look at it?
Now that I know what the going rate is, the situation I'm currently in, $300?
Yes, and eggs are like, I think it's like 1100 or 1200.
Yeah, don't have any access to those, but that's really $300?
$300, be a sperm donor. You can be a father tomorrow if you want.
Be like that guy that donated sperm for like 20 years and then he finds out he's got like thousands of children all around the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
didn't they make a movie about that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Vince Vaughn did basically a movie version of that. That's hilarious. And it's something, honestly, that movie may have prevented me from, in my most destitute times, from just going over there.
$300 though.
$300.
Does it help now that I'm past law school? Does that add to it?
I don't think it really matters, to be honest, for most people.
Damn. All right. Well, yeah, $300. So to answer your question, I'm there, baby.
Tony's
Let's
there.
do it. Yeah, I'm gonna make some calls.
Tony's gonna make some calls, and he's gonna have some children on the way.
Yeah, maybe we can get a sperm bank to sponsor the pod.
Yeah, that's next. All right, and on that beautiful, eloquent note, Elvis Monroe, please play us in.
In a crowded room, somewhere in town.
We're back.
We are.
You know, Tony, I'm somewhat of a gambling man, and I know that you are too.
Okay.
We frequently check the over-unders. If
Yes.
I was going to create an over-under for the least listened to podcast that we're going to put out,
that's not nice.
I think this might be and I'm not saying I don't like the movie. I'm saying that this will probably get like 10 listens and it's really going to hurt my feelings. But those of you who are here for the jokes, who just don't get here for the cold open,
Absolutely.
stay for the movie because we've got some good stuff for you.
We do. And in fact, this might be one of the it's gonna get weird, and in a good way. It's gonna get weird because this is a movie that is broken up by trimesters. So, you know, if you guys didn't think that we were going to get into a movie that's primary plot device is a pregnancy, well, tell you what, we're here and we're here to do it, and you are wrong. So, Tim,
yeah,
would you like to address the difference between single moms and single dads now, or would you like to do that later on in the podcast?
Oh, I didn't know that we were going to do this.
We're doing the whole thing.
You just want to get into it.
Yeah, we're getting into it.
Okay.
And why at one point it was aw, and then at one point it's aw.
Yeah. So there's that dynamic when they're shopping for a crib, I believe. But there's another one when they have the baby shower that he invites his surrogate to, which was, I can't tell if I was supposed to be laughing the whole time or cringing, but I was kind of doing a little bit of both.
I almost threw myself off of the imaginary balcony.
Yeah.
Off of like the imaginary 15-story balcony. That entire scene was just, oh, people are awful. People are just terrible.
And honestly, I think the reason that you felt that way is because you know that's how people would act if that happens. Like that it felt true to life. I was like, no, people are this stupid. This is exactly how they would act.
Like the soon to be grandma just walks in, doesn't address the human being in front of her, just addresses the stomach.
Yep.
And just as though
grabs it.
Yeah, and just start like there isn't even a person there. It's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing and very, very well depicted, because I would imagine, granted, never been in the situation, but I would imagine that's how most people would react, just because, they're excited, but they're also selfish bastards.
Oh, for sure. And, to the single dads thing, I actually, there's some movies that have come out over the last 10 years that I think have made us look at comedic actors differently. And if you ever listen to a podcast where one of them is on, they will consistently talk about how they hate how comedic actors are shit on and people don't think they can act. When, if you look at, like, for instance, Steve Carell's body of work, he's a legitimately good actor outside of being hilariously funny.
Just check out Foxcatcher. Like, it's a creepy ass movie, and it's a creepy ass movie singularly because of him. There is no other force that is making that movie the tone that they're going for other than his performance, and it is one of easily the creepiest movies that I have ever seen. Now, is it made creepier by the fact that a lot of my family knows a lot of people that are in that situation? Yes, but that movie is insane, and it's because of how good of an actor he is. And by the way, it is much harder to make someone laugh for an hour and a half, hour 45, than it is to get them to feel any type of emotion, like sad or happy or whatever, because we project a lot more onto those performances. Whereas comedy, most people aren't funny.
It's absurdist.
Yeah. And a lot of it's not real life, but then some of the really good comedy, like what's in this movie, actually is very real and is funny because it's so real. Now, like Palm Springs, yeah, that's more just, it's funny because it's funny. But this shit it's funny because it's real. Like the coffee shop employee.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to him later.
Yeah. So how does
I was with. Stop fucking interrupting me. We're not cutting this out either.
No,
we're just gonna keep it.
I've been asked a couple times how edited the pod is.
Not very
at all, because this is the beauty of podcasting. It's free, and I feel like the people get to know us a little bit better when they hear our flaws. We're not perfect. I know some people might think that, but we're not perfect.
Right.
And so I want to make sure. Yeah.
Shout out to the moms, our moms that are listening, and
yes.
Happy belated Mother's Day and all that.
Yes, happy belated. I'm gonna get to actually see my mom in a couple days, so that's exciting. You still, you're still in the same state, good. So maybe you're a better son. I have no idea. Who knows?
I've been told.
So you were saying, Tim, before I so rudely interrupted you.
I wanted to do just a brief thing on Ed Helms, because one of the things that I'm trying to be better at this year, because it's been a solid 2 years since I've been in theaters, is I'm trying to do better about not reading stuff beforehand or watching trailers beforehand.
Oh, wait, you went to a theater to see this?
I did.
Nice.
This was actually the first time I've been in a theater. I did make the trek for Tenet, which in hindsight I probably should not have done, given the timing. But I did go for Tenet, but that was last June.
Yeah.
So it's been a year since I've been there, but it's been much longer than that since I was going consistently. And I've been doing my best to not read the trailers, not read the reviews, just look at the general Rotten Tomatoes score and kind of let that decide where I'm going to go, and let what people tell me decide where I'm going to go.
Oh no.
No,
you're letting the Rotten Tomatoes score just.
That's why I emphasize what people tell me about it. And so when I was coming into this movie, I'll be honest, I was expecting it to be either a dumb rom-com or to just be laughing hysterically for 2 hours straight. And it was neither of those things.
This was more in line with The Big Sick. This was more in line with, this was very well done.
I think it was supposed to be even less funny than The Big Sick, though.
Yeah.
Like, I actually think that it takes on an even more serious tone, if that's even possible, because, you know, there's a woman dying in that.
This felt like a Noah Baumbach movie. Like, this felt real.
No, I couldn't agree more. And just the Ed Helms thing, like, I actually do respect him more as an actor, even though I know that that's probably unfair. Very. Because doing a serious role like this, I never thought that I could take him seriously for 2 hours because he's made me laugh too many times.
Well, and his character in The Office, like Andy, is just so stupid, but means so well and is so lovable, but it's just a moron.
Yeah,
and has made such an impact, at least on me, that, like, for me, I always thought that, okay, he's gonna always be Andy. He's such a good actor. I didn't have that thought throughout the entire movie.
No, and really the only time that I was kind of like ready to just laugh at any point was the opening scene where he's taking notes about what she's saying to him. And I'm getting ready for him to say something stupid, and he just never does. He like crosses out something at one point and asks another question. But I was like, oh, this is a different tone that we're going to be getting into here. And I kind of like it. I'll be honest, there's parts of this movie that I absolutely despise to no end.
Wow.
Yeah, like just actively was in the theater mouthing, okay, what the fuck?
Okay.
But there were other stuff that I thought was really well done. And I think in large part, obviously, he's the lead of this, or the co-lead of this movie. It's in large part to him.
So real quick, Tim, just for the YouTube audience, because they're probably wondering the same thing. What hand motion were you just doing to your microphone?
Oh,
where you stroke it?
Yeah. So I have this nerve. Yeah. I have a couple nervous tics. That's one of them, where I start like going up and down on the microphone.
Yeah.
One of the other things is that people have been complaining that my mouth is too close to the microphone, like I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
You can hear every puh in my mouth.
Yeah.
And then, but the thing is,
trust me,
when I back up on this mic, it gets really, really quiet. So I'm trying to do an in between here and gripping it for some stability.
Just make sure you err on the side of gentle. We don't want to be too rough with it.
For sure.
So this movie starts, and I honestly knew nothing about the movie going in. I had heard that it was good, but that was really all that I had heard. And for obviously the listeners, we said that we were going to be doing draft day. There was some scheduling conflicts. We're going to be doing draft day next. So instead, we're doing this movie. It's a very good movie. Watch it. I had no idea what was going on. I thought he was a therapist at the beginning. And so the first note that I wrote down was, knowing what you know about Ed Helms, would you hire him as a therapist? But, obviously then you figure out that he's, interviewing surrogates and all that stuff. So did you like the fact that this movie was broken up as though it was sort of prologue and then 3 chapters? So first trimester, second trimester, third trimester. Did you like that organization?
I'm going to be honest. That's one of the things that I'm not quite sure why they did. Because they do address it in the movie, the kind of like, hey, you had a teenage pregnancy. Why didn't you consider abortion? Are you pro-life? The trimester framework is made up. It was made up by the Supreme Court. It's not like a real thing. It has no basis in science whatsoever. Its only function is to determine when a woman is allowed to get an abortion. Literally, that's it. And so I thought it was kind of like, I saw what they were doing. I was like, okay, that's cute to break it up like that, kind of. But it was also, I noticed that I do this. So like when you do something in 3 parts, I'm expecting the 3 parts to be close to even in terms of runtime. The second trimester probably takes up like an hour 20 of this movie. Like the first and third are 10, 15 minutes each, I want to say. So that small little thing, I was like, you could have just flashed on the screen 3 months pregnant, 4 months pregnant. I would have had a general idea of what was going on. Although I did learn a lot about pregnancy through this movie. I'm not going to lie.
I did too. And I don't know, because so it came on VOD today.
Okay.
And so,
Nice.
And I had, everybody, I'm now done with law school. Tim, Pepperdine's done in like what, 2 months?
Yeah. I am in the midst of finishing up this paper so that I can join the land of the living again.
Oh, so you don't have a final. You just have a paper left.
I just have a paper.
Oh.
And it's not graded.
Oh, so you're done. Beautiful.
No, because it's still anonymous, so I can still fail. Nobody wants to hear us talk about this. Okay, go ahead.
Fair enough. So anyways, so I finished yesterday, and so then I saw that this movie was coming on VOD today. We were recording today, so I'm like, oh, okay, perfect. That way, I could be responsible and not go to a theater like some other members of this podcast did. But hey, you know what?
I was masked the whole time. Calm down.
Masked and vaxxed, ready to
That's
go.
right, baby.
Not
waxed though. Not yet.
Not yet. Well, I mean, your head might as well be. And the best podcast content is really when someone laughs at their own joke. So
yeah, that's why
really
they give you the satisfaction.
Yeah. I'm like Kamala Harris. I'm for the people.
Right.
So I very much did not like the sort of trimester framework of the movie. It's a crutch that just didn't need to be there. There's a very obvious sort of totem that we could have taken throughout the movie with us. Just the obviousness of the bump could have been, because I'm guessing they did it to show that time had passed. There's a very easy way in a movie that's the length of a pregnancy to show how much time has passed. It's very easy. I don't know. It's, on one hand, I like the sort of narration style that like Adam McKay uses a decent amount, or like the Goodfellas sort of voiceover stuff. I'm a sucker for that shit. And I'm generally a sucker for like Endgame, when they like flash across what city they're in, what year, and all that stuff. Like, I like that just because I don't know, I think it's cool. But when it pops up second trimester, like, maybe I'm just an idiot hopefully law grad, we'll see when grades come out. And I just keep thinking about Roe v. Wade. And so it takes me out of the movie. But it seemed unnecessary, because there's such an easy thing. If you want to show the passage of time, there's such an easy thing to do that with. So I don't know.
I agree. My next question that I want to ask you is, at what point in this movie did you realize it was not a rom-com? It is a love story, right? But it's not the traditional, these two characters are going to end up together. When did you realize that? Because for me, I consider myself pretty intelligent when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
I did not pick up on it until they have the comment about the Woody Allen movies. And she just goes in on everybody who's watching this right now, has this really weird and fucked up expectation about what's going to happen here. And let me tell you why that's very weird. And it flipped the whole movie on its head for me when she did that, because up until that point, I had some problems with it. And then finally it was like, no, that's not what's going on here.
I honestly thought up until the end that they were going to end up being together, but it was going to be in a different way.
Which they probably do. I think it's safe to say that.
I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna save that. That's gonna be a question for later. The Woody Allen moment, by the way. Damn,
he nailed it. By the way,
that director the writer put that in there at the perfect time. Used the perfect tone. Just everything about that was perfect. I was dying laughing.
By the way, he's right. I can't emphasize how much he is correct about what the line that Patti Harrison, the character, delivers is dead on.
Yeah. And by the way, phenomenal acting by her. She is incredible.
She's good
in this movie. So all right. So we've kind of done a little bit more serious questions. I've got a good question for you. So And it's a two-parter.
Okay.
How long or how old do you think you would get until you join Loner?
Loner. Yeah. Okay.
Or are you already there?
No. I'm gonna do this now. That app is one of the things that I just don't get about this. It's like literally
What?
they had some 35-year-old advising them on how 18-year-olds think for this movie. And that's my problem with the guy in the coffee shop who's her friend.
Okay.
Who's like dating two guys at once or whatever.
Don't name him Jesse.
Not Jesse. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his name is. But that character and that app is like an old guy's version of what people think young people do. And that was, it was cringy to me. I was like, that, I get he's a tech guy, so we have to like show that he's done something.
Yeah.
But this is just weird because you don't meet the people, you just like that, or you just look at their pictures and swipe through. And like, I'm like, that wouldn't work. There's no way that would work.
I mean, it works enough in that world. He seems to be wealthy. They don't go much into it, but he seems, the only real mention is made enough to pay for the baby, which and surrogacy is expensive, so he might be doing really well. And I don't believe they say in California, so who knows where in California. It seemed like either LA or San Diego, and given the what was that?
I was gonna say it actually felt very Ventura Beach area to me, which is like north of Los Angeles, but I'm not sure. I have no idea.
And I was gonna say more like Del Mar-ish with some scenes also in downtown San Diego, but again,
similar vibe.
That's because I live in San Diego. But so my other question is, how long until you consider hiring a surrogate?
Here's the thing. I don't even know if you're comfortable having this conversation.
Let's get into it.
I'm not entirely sure I'm cool with the whole morality of this whole thing, because what it is, and this is my number one criticism of the movie as Tony's freezing. I don't think that they did enough to talk about the economic implications of why this setup even exists in the first place.
Sure.
Because what this guy is essentially doing is he is using the body of someone who is down on her luck economically, who needs money desperately, who has worked relatively hard her entire life to try and make a better life for herself.
Right.
And this is the only way that she can go to college is to become pregnant with this guy's and again, I get it. Okay. I'm not saying like, obviously this is her choice. You want to make money that way? That's fucking awesome to me. Like, good for you. But
so you're saying like Ed Helms in this movie, you're pro-choice?
Well, yeah, like for sure. The act of having that much money, right, to induce someone to do something that is not easy by any stretch of the imagination,
which is very much shown in the third trimester portion of this movie.
It's shown the whole time. I mean, from the time he sees her, he sees the guy coming out of her apartment, and they have the whole conversation about please don't have sex while you're having, and it's like, yeah, and you kind of take a step back, and you're like, okay, we're not together. Like, that's not how this works. Like, I'm not. And I don't know, like I had so many changes of thought during this movie. I just thought that like this lady's trying to go to college, and her only way to get there is through having this guy's baby. It felt mildly like we weren't talking enough about that in the movie. But
see, I thought you were going a different way with that. Yes, that is not spoken of enough, and also the unexplained person that's trying to get into the coffee shop when they're closed. I thought that was going to be like her dad showing up or something, and I thought we were going to get into that, and we didn't, which I don't know if we needed to, but that could have been maybe an opportunity for that character to sort of to address that. I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest.
It seems odd that we got more explanation as to the intentions of Ed Helms than the intentions of is it I'm so sorry, what's her name?
Patti Harrison's the
Patti
actress
Harrison.
name.
I wanted to say Patty Morrison, Patti Harrison. It felt weird that we didn't get a lot of motivation from her outside of some passing sort of asides about college. And then we got to make her a retail clerk.
Yes.
Like we got to make her a retail clerk as a joke. Like that just seems weird. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, the thing with the parents too, I'm perfectly comfortable admitting when certain moments in movies make me feel emotional. I think that's one of the things we've gone into on this podcast. The scene where she listens to the voicemail from her mom and she goes into, I guess you're pregnant again, and just like backhand compliment.
Yeah.
And you see the look on her face as every single word like rushes over her.
Yep.
And you just cannot help but feel awful.
Yeah.
For this person in that moment. Like I actually like that's the scene that sticks out the most to me is her listening to the voicemails and just going, fuck, like okay.
So yeah, it's for me, there are a lot more moments in a movie like The Big Sick that got me, but that scene is really the only background that we get into, like a direct background that we get into, and it's very well done. And that's why I think we should have gotten more, because that character, and well, like I said before, her performance is incredible. And I would have liked to see more of her being the sort of lead in the scene, as opposed to being what the people at the baby shower like really treated her as just an accessory to whatever's going on in Ed Helms' life. So
And
I don't know. I think more could have been done with her.
I agree. One of the things I wrote down to that point was I was not typing during the movie. I had to remember all this later because I was in a theater. One of the things that I typed later was I don't remember a scene other than the scene of her listening to the voicemail where it was just her.
Yeah.
On camera, it's usually her and somebody else, or her and Ed Helms,
or her,
generally speaking,
or her about to calling someone else. So it's a cut between, like, yeah,
right. And I thought that was interesting, and I had to think about it a little bit. Like, are they saying, like, is it a codependency thing that they're trying to give to us, that these two people need each other on some level, or is it just bad writing that she doesn't have more scenes? Like sometimes it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But you're right. I did want a little bit more on her because I kind of got like intuitively why Ed Helms was doing it. And there was a lot about that, but I was like, no, I get it. Like you want a kid, you're 40.
All you had to tell me was you made an app called Loner. Really, that's all the background I need to know from you. Yeah. Now we get to the point where we're going to ultrasounds, and that's when we get probably, for my money, the funniest character in the entire movie. This technician, the technician who says, that she's just a technician, she can't say anything, but then off the record, I know everything, I'm just not allowed to say anything. That first scene where she pulls out the wand and keep scooting down, and then Ed Helms like, what are you gonna do with that thing? Oh, this is an internal ultrasound. He's like, should I be in here? Should I leave?
And that's like right
I'll turn around.
Yeah, that's like right after he finds out she's having sex with that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it's such a wild scene. It's great.
It's hilarious. No, it's hilarious. I actually like her character. I mean, I love when she leaves the room at one point and she's like, I can't tell if she's the best person ever or she doesn't like us. And he's like, I'm pretty sure she doesn't like us and she's just trying to be nice.
And then they come back and they're not talking. And she's like, all right, what's up with you two? It's just great.
Oh, yeah,
awesome. It's
awesome. The last scene. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Was that the one? I also like the one where they go and they're like, do you want to know the sex? And they go back and forth on it. And she's just like, okay.
So what are we thinking?
You definitely did not discuss this beforehand. Great.
So, Tim, in your experience, which, and I'm just going to say,
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom, for both of us.
Okay.
In your experience,
Yeah.
is sex a contact sport?
What? I guess so. Yes.
Well, because I'm not just asking you that randomly. You remember that moment in the movie?
No, I don't. I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
When they're going through the activities that that she's allowed to do. She's not allowed to do all these like contact sports, can't, go skiing, snowboarding. They keep reading off all the things that they can do. And then Ed Helms makes a joke like, well, sex is kind of like a contact sport.
I mean, and then he talks about the scooter. He's like, no, the guy had a scooter.
Yeah.
Which I actually think was the only moment that he was pretty funny in this entire movie.
Right.
But not in the sense that there's collision. So it depends on how you define contact. So doesn't have to be collision between the two people where they're bouncing off of each other. Just saying.
I don't think you're doing it right then.
I think you're doing something incredibly wrong. That's what I think.
So Tim, sex is not a contact sport, is what you're saying.
No, not in the traditional definition of contact sport. Like there doesn't have to be banging up against each other like that.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm not going to go into this. This for so many reasons. Mainly, a lot of people listen to this show now that know me.
Okay, so Ed Helms, he's a fan of Friends.
Oh,
and I'm a fan of Ed Helms, and I'm a fan of Ed Helms.
I loved her reaction.
One of the only, but then she gets sucked in like everybody else does. And Tim, for the listeners, avid Friends fan. Tim, I am. Tim, actively not a Friends fan.
Don't like it.
Much to the chagrin of one of his exes. Much to the chagrin of her.
Patti Harrison's first reaction to Friends, where this is so fucking stupid. That is my reaction to watching that show.
And then they're watching the last season, the last episode, when all of them are walking out of the apartment for the last time, and they're both sobbing, which is the correct reaction to the ending of Friends, because everybody ends up loving that show. By the way,
they were watching that. He's a tech guy, and they're watching that on his laptop at the dinner table. Like, there's small things like that just bug me. I'm like, this guy doesn't have like a nice flat screen. He's like a big tech guy. Like, this seems weird to me. Whatever.
Product placement, Tim. Come on. They had to pay for the movie. Just like,
I kind of got the feeling that it was like more
for the YouTube audience. For the YouTube audience, are we going to say that Tim doesn't understand the value and the logistics of product placement? His camera is being lined by Bucked Up products.
I mean, the only thing that I can think of is that
as he then looks down, then the Bucked Up logo on his hat comes into the frame.
He's kind of a germaphobe, and so maybe he didn't want the popcorn or the ice cream in the TV room. That was the only thing I could think of. But when they do that multiple times, I was like, okay, this guy definitely has a TV. So this feels weird to me. Like, can we get my girl a nice comfortable seat? She's sitting at like a dining room chair.
Yeah, because I believe that was second trimester. So I mean, hey,
the whole movie was second trimester. So yeah.
Fair enough. So were you triggered by the exchange?
Yes.
Why are you alone? Why are you alone? I'm 26, but you live with your family. Did that exchange hit you in any certain way?
Oh boy, how to answer this question. A little bit. Got to me a little bit.
Okay.
I think it's well-known information that we both live in our parents' house. I live actually with my parents.
Yes. I live a state away. And I live a state away.
Right. So no, that line's tough, but you know which line is even tougher? When the guy at the coffee shop is talking about Tinder or Bumble or whichever one he's talking about.
Okay, I meant to ask you about this. This is good.
He's like, I don't swipe right because I don't want to hurt their feelings. I'm like, has any writer on this movie ever used Tinder? Ever opened the app?
Doesn't sound
ever
like
seen it?
Doesn't sound like it.
Because they made a fake app based on it. So
Yeah.
I would think that they would at least understand when you swipe right, they don't know. Or if they swipe right on you and you don't swipe right on them, they also don't know.
I do think that he was getting at that he's a horrible person. So if they meet the person, that person's feelings will end up getting hurt. I do think that's what they were going for. But not that great writing because you have to guess. So.
Yeah, I didn't make that connection at all. It was more like, I don't want to swipe past this person because I'm going to make them feel bad was what I got. And I'm like, that's not how that works at all.
So then we get the one reference to The Office. Did you catch it?
Ooh, that's tough. No, I didn't.
Peanut.
Oh.
When they're trying to name the child.
Yep.
That's what Andy calls Angela's kid, Little Peanut.
Yep.
And so, now in that vein, if you had a surrogate,
which I would never do this, by the way.
Yeah, but if you did, what name would you settle on calling the child, and why would it not be Lamp?
None. I would have none, and this is why. His whole obsession with interacting with her, I would not want in any shape or form.
Yeah, but you're nothing like this character.
No, I'm nothing like this character at all. But when he is like constantly hovering over her and like trying to hang out with her, like I would not have any of that shit. And by the way, she shouldn't either. She's getting advice from the therapist and at group to be like, hey, that's probably not great that that's going to cause some emotional strain. I wouldn't want it. Like, look, like,
yeah,
as cold as it is, this is just a contractual relationship. Like it's just basically a business transaction. I mean, I know that's fucked up, but it's what it is. That's paying her for a service.
That's the movie.
He's paying for a service, essentially. Like, I don't really want to interact with this person on a personal basis whatsoever. So I would call it, first of all, I would probably want to know the gender. I'm weird like that, but I wouldn't.
Definitely would. Yeah.
But I would want to know because I couldn't wait because I'm that person that like, if it's there, I just want to know.
Yeah.
And I would name it myself for the last few weeks. I would just call it by its name to my friends who I was. I apologize. Him or her or whatever.
They.
It's
not
what
hard.
They. I apologize.
It's not hard.
Them. I would call them by the name that I picked once I knew the gender and I picked the name. That's what to my friends. But as far as like having a name to call it for the surrogate, I'd appreciate no names.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be interacting with the surrogate anyways. So in that vein,
no.
Would you have a baby shower?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm glad you asked this. I'm really glad you asked this because there was a joke back in the day on Twitter that was like, everybody rubs my wife's stomach, but nobody pats my balls when she gets pregnant.
What the hell?
Everybody thought it was hilarious. Yeah, no, this was like old Twitter.
Jesus.
This was like 2012, 2013 Twitter. Here's the thing, guys.
We were typing that shit with virgin fingers back then. My God.
Purpose of a baby shower, as I understand it, I've never been to one, is twofold. Number one is to get shit for your baby that you yourself don't want to buy because that stuff's expensive. Got it.
Correct.
Ed Helms' case, money doesn't seem to be a problem. Number two, it is solely for support of the woman who is going through this crazy ass bodily experience that literally only women can relate to.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like those are the two. So if you want free shit, that's fine. Have people like get a registry and have them send it to you. Don't like having a baby shower to like support you in what? You stand there and hold the hand. You're useless.
You're not doing shit. And it seemed like such a hollow thing because he's sitting there and everyone's like, oh my God, congratulations. Like, he's not suffering at all. It's just this.
Congratulations for what?
Yeah. He's not doing anything.
He jerked off in a cup. That's what he did. Like that's all he's accomplished at that point.
By the way, just so that the audio only listeners can get this, can get the same effect, because Tim is still at his parents' house, he like looked behind himself real quick before he said the phrase jerked off. I love it. I love it.
I definitely did. But it's so true. It's like that tweet was stupid back then, and the idea is stupid now. Like,
it is.
I'm sorry, if you're a dude, you didn't do anything. Your whole job is to make her as comfortable as possible if you're actually with that person. That's it. And that's not honestly that hard or that different from what you'd be doing anyways.
Yeah. Like, so we then get to the maternity store scene.
I love this scene. This reminded me of Los Angeles to a T.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And that's why I was thinking more closer to downtown San Diego as opposed to more North County, because there's boutiques aren't really in North County, San Diego. But there's really only one thing that I want to talk about. There's one bone that I have to pick with this scene. The friend. Oh, you're in law school, right? Yeah, it's just the first year. Excuse me. The first year is the hardest year. So not only did these writers never use Tinder before, but they don't know anybody that went into law school, because there is not a single person that would be in the middle of first year that would downplay their experience
just
in the first year of law school while shopping. There is no chance, because law students, as I'm doing right now, do not talk about how shitty the first year is.
I'm so glad you brought this up, because I didn't know if I was going to. I kind of like gasped in the theater when I was like, like I kind of made that sound, just like, there's not one first year law student that would say what she just said.
No,
none. And if you spent, I actually looked this up. If you looked up how hard is law school, the first fucking answer on Google Reddit.
Does it show suicide rate?
Well, no, they should. But the first year is the hardest. That's on the first fucking click.
Yeah.
Like just put some effort into this, like, or just err on the side of law school is hard and have the character be like, it's really hard, but I'm enjoying it.
But nobody would say that either. Oh, actually, the first couple weeks you would say that. No, but you want to know what time the person would say, it's fine. The point that we were just at the last year, and really the last semester, it's just, you know what? I don't feel anything anymore. I am so devoid of emotion. It's fine. It's happening. I'm almost done. I just can't wait to get done with it, because then I get to study for the bar, and that's gonna be so fun. I'm dead inside.
No, I agree with you. I got confused because you said at the boutique store, I thought you were talking about when they go shopping for cribs, but I do remember when they were shopping for maternity clothes. But the scene where they're shopping for cribs is also hilarious, because the lady who's like, oh, this crib is $10,000. It's got see-through glass on it and they can see their environment. And he's just like,
does it also turn into a Mercedes?
This is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever. The only problem I had is they weirdly blamed the sales associate for how much their shit cost.
Again, we're motherfucking a minimum wage employee.
Yeah, we're motherfucking a sales associate at a baby crib place.
They don't even work on commission.
They don't work and they were like, we'll go buy it online. Oh, we don't work on commission. Great, I'll buy it. I was like, you dick. You
asshole. Yeah. It's awful.
Dick.
So, do you have anything to say? And you'll probably have a question for me on this topic. Do you have anything to say about the book A Father Knows?
I did not actually look up what that book is.
Oh,
to be honest, I assumed it was.
I did.
I did not, because again, I was in the theater and it didn't occur to me at the moment to go out and look it up later.
Yeah. There's a lot going on with that book, and I tell you what, I didn't look up when it got published. I'm really hoping that it was before all that shit came out. I'll leave that there, but I'm really hoping that it came out. For those of you listening, look up what that book's about. Ooh, I love that they included it in the movie because it's hilarious, but damn, it's rough. It's rough. So yeah, I'm looking through my notes. Or did you have something to say? Because you look excited to say something, Tim. Or can you even hear me?
Yeah, this is awesome content. Should we choose to leave this in?
Yeah.
Tony's fucking internet's been going in and out the whole time. So I'm like hearing him 10 seconds after he says stuff. So this has been Helaman's work on my end.
It's been what work?
I'll explain it to you when you're older.
Great. Okay, so how would you explain your prospective daughter about periods?
I would Google a YouTube video and I would basically copy that transcript.
Yep.
Print it out. I would find the YouTube video with the most views. I would get a transcript. I would print it out and I would read it because I'm a dumbass. I don't really know much, if anything, about that. I know, like, I've just never had to deal with it, and I'm not going to pretend like I have. So, I mean, obviously, like, it's super important that she, understand it. Like, if I'm a single father, it'd be super important to have that talk. But
yeah,
at the same time, I'd be like, if I said anything off, like, just shooting from the hip, I would be so afraid to be wrong.
Like, so vivid. Shooting from the hip. Very vivid.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I would just Google single dad tells daughter about period how to.
How to. Okay, yeah, I might not Google that. You might not like what you see.
Yeah, or
there's some sick fucks out there.
Seriously, I'm not like weirded out by it, but I would probably just have like an older female, like an aunt or my mom or somebody in my family do it, just because.
Yeah.
What am I like? What advice am I gonna have?
They're not gonna have any questions. They're not gonna ask you any questions. Like
no.
You don't have the answer.
If they did, I'd be like, I don't know.
Google it or call your aunt or call your mom. I don't know.
Which is like the worst
possible. Call your grandma or something. Yeah.
It's the worst possible thing that you can do. Yeah. So yeah, I actually like that they included that scene. I thought it was funny. I mean, it makes no sense that he's thinking about that before the baby's born. But
and by the way, just find out the gender and then you'll know if you need to figure that out or not. So then we go back to the coffee shop and we get the comment, your body is a graveyard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was rude as hell. That's the one scene where I'm not a fan of her. That's very messed up. Now, the guy didn't really seem to give a shit. Doesn't really seem to be
about anything.
Doesn't seem to be the type of person that would give a shit about any of that stuff. But that's a really fucked up thing to say.
Well, also, that character again. I swear to God, they just don't know any young people. Yeah. The whole thing where he's just staring blank faced at Ed Helms when he walks in. I'm like, okay, dude. Like, I'm sure you've dealt with some shitty service people, but like. Playing up that stereotype, no kid is actually going to do that to somebody who just walks in.
Yeah.
That was so weird to me. I'm like, what are you trying to say?
Because
I don't get it.
If you get hired to be in the service industry, that means you've at least been able to talk to someone in an interview well enough to get hired. So that means you're not going to be doing that. You're going to have much better social skills than that. Now, there is the funniest part of the movie for me. The funniest part of the movie. I just gave him a podcast. It's about Reaganomics.
I was wondering when we were going to get to this. Okay.
That not only is the coffee shop employee's whole character aimed at making fun of me, But then we put an entire line in the movie just making fun of literally me and what I'm currently doing.
That
I didn't appreciate it, but it was so well done that it was the funniest part of the movie.
I was in a theater with 10 people, and I had the experience for the first time again in several years of being in a theater where I am the one laughing for 2 seconds too long.
Yes.
Because as soon as she goes, she goes, I'm trying to give him a podcast. It's about Reaganomics. I like lost it. I was like, I am actually going to do a podcast on this movie
about this movie.
Later.
How meta.
She's like, and she starts it off with, he's going to be a straight white male, isn't he? I'm giving him a podcast. I'm just like, oh, yeah. Oh my God. Like I was going to open with that, but I decided not to. That was brutal. She like brutalized the both of us with that. Yeah. But again, as we've talked about before, we are a walking stereotype.
Yes, we are. And for the audio only listeners, he is tapping the product placement that is currently framing his camera. So yeah, we're fine. Now, then we get to, then the baby shower happens, all that stuff happens. Then we go to the lovely person at the koala house. Tim, do you remember what the koala house is? No. So
no.
The koala house is where we have the cleansing breath, where we're doing the breathing exercises.
Oh, why don't you just say that? Why don't you just like
because the name of it's great too. So I have to ask you, do you want to do a cleansing breath right now? Like, do you feel like you need to just kind of let it out? Yeah.
We should.
Just right, nice little.
Let's do it on 3.
All right, 3, 2,
1. Yeah, I don't feel better.
I don't feel better at all. Now, granted, I'm not carrying a baby, so I don't think
that's what I was gonna say.
I don't think it's designed to make me feel better.
Not a female. Kind of seems like bullshit though. And I identify with her character who's just like, this is kind of bullshit. I'm not into this.
But, it's his kid, so we're here.
It seems more of like couples yoga, which is cool. But
yeah. Oh, I mean, which reminds me. So, have you ever, because I have you ever been to couples therapy? Because they go to couples therapy.
And I never will. I never will. And here's why. I will fully cop to, I have been to therapy for myself.
Right.
I would absolutely, if I was having a disagreement with somebody, I wouldn't go to therapy. Because when I go to therapy, what I do is I let shit fly. Just fly. So if I got in that mode where it was like, tell me how you're feeling about this, the things that would come out of my mouth would make things, there's no coming back from it.
Just make it so much worse.
There's no no, it's just got to be me and the other person, and we'll work through some shit. But I just need to be like, look, this person really fucking sucks right now. I'm just going to be honest. I don't enjoy being around them.
Yeah. So now I've been in couples therapy when I'm actually in a couple. Now, in my experience, it was awful. Only made matters worse. And I've been told that that's a sign that the relationship isn't right. So you know what?
Maybe they always say though,
but maybe it's successful.
Like, oh, it's working. Yeah, that's what I mean. They're like, oh, it's successful because you broke up. And I'm like,
I don't know. I think it's a racket, personally. I think individual therapy is very helpful. And I think it's changed a lot of people's lives. And I'm not the first person to say that, nor am I the best person to say that. But I personally, in my personal experience, think that couples therapy is a complete racket and doesn't help. That's my hot take. So
I agree, because there's only one person. So the one person has to pick a side. And if they don't, and they do what this lady did, where she just goes, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? Like, what the fuck am I paying you for?
Yeah.
To just sit there and ask me what I feel about what she just said. I was going to tell her that anyways, with you or without you in the room.
Yeah. You know what I honestly think would be the best way to do it? You have the same therapist and you individually go to therapy.
I agree. No,
I think
totally
that would be
agree.
better. And then when you go home, then you can decide what you want to talk about and what you don't want to talk about.
Because
But
how do you go home after you just bare your soul and you're just like, look,
hey, you want some scrambled eggs? Like what
yeah, like, do you want to go to
like,
dinner after I just aired every single little thing I've ever
there's
disliked
no
about
way.
you?
What you're gonna do is you're gonna go home, you're gonna argue, and then you're gonna go back and you're gonna talk about how you argued, and then you're gonna argue at the session about the arguing, because obviously you're not going to agree on how the other person describes the argument that you had, and it's going to keep snowballing into you being told that you need more therapy, which is more expensive. So it's a racket.
No, exactly. And the other thing with it is that like the whole fucking point of therapy, right, is confidentiality.
Yes.
Right? That is the whole point of it. And if you don't have the ability to open up to your partner without someone asking you to do it, that is your first fucking clue.
Yeah.
That something is off.
Yeah. Anyways, so we have the whole koala house thing. She ends up semi moving in with him, semi not, all that good stuff. I don't know. Didn't seem like a good idea, but it also seems like that, there should probably be someone there for her, like just at a moment's notice to be able to do stuff for her. I don't know. Who knows?
I agree with that.
Yeah. So, individual basis, who knows? Then we get to labor. They show the water breaking, all that good stuff. We get to the hospital.
Yep.
The baby starts to come out. The quote, "We're gonna push in 30 seconds. We." And she even says, "Yeah, we." Perfect. We aren't doing shit. You're yelling at me to push. That's what you're doing. I'm pushing. I'm pushing a human being out of my body. That's what I'm doing. And, I don't know.
Seems painful. A
liberal use of "we" seems to happen a lot throughout pregnancies. Guy isn't doing anything.
That was my whole reaction. No, nothing. And that's what you have. Like, honestly, never had a kid, but I feel like that's what you got to realize as a dude. You are not doing shit.
You did the one thing that guys think about doing at all times. And then you're done.
Exactly. You're done. Nothing. All right. So the "we" shit out the door. Just
stop.
Try to be a good person.
Yeah.
Don't be Tristan Thompson, and you're good.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, what? He cheated on his wife while she was pregnant. Don't do that. That's the best advice I have.
That's great. Shout out to Tristan Thompson.
Shout out.
Drive by. I mean, not that he doesn't deserve it, but yeah. Wow. All right. So yeah, then the baby comes, all that good stuff. I told you to save it. Do you think they end up together?
My answer is I hope not, because I think that would be horrifically inappropriate and weird. She's going to college in a different state, so it doesn't seem like he's moving anytime soon, especially with his family there, and he's got a house there and now a new kid. I don't think they end up together, but I think that they do remain friends from this, and they have a loving relationship in that friendship, but it's not there. She is not. I'm just guessing. He might be. He probably is into her that way.
Very much.
But she is not into him that way. And she makes that very clear throughout the movie. So no.
There is no chance that they end up together, because she wants to get the F out. The look on the character's face when the look on the character's face when she delivers the baby And as the YouTube audience, you guys get to be in on the joke. I'm so glad that this is on video, but I am a great podcast host, so I'm going to persevere. The look on her face when she delivers the baby is a face of relief. It's a face of completion. It's a face of accomplishment. It's not a face of, like, she's not looking at the baby. She's not focused on the baby. She's happy that she's done. She's happy that she doesn't have to do this anymore. There is no chance, absolutely no chance, that they end up together. So yeah, there's no chance that they end up together. And Tim, we're back. How's it going, buddy?
We're back. I'm back. How is everybody doing?
You're the worst. So, yeah, I don't think that there's any chance that they end up together. But anyways, so what is? Did you have something to say?
No, I was just putting up the sign 0.
Yeah,
0%
no, there's zero chance. So what was your limbo lesson that you took from this?
My limbo lesson. That there is this whole world, shall we say, where rich dudes pay women to have kids for them because they're incapable of having meaningful relationships where they can have kids on their own. And women who are generally, I'm going to guess, on the poorer side are more susceptible to
being taken advantage of,
being used, not used. I don't even use that, but being used for this purpose.
Yeah.
Honestly, I couldn't help but feel awful for Patti Harrison's character the entire time. It seems like she's had a really rough go of it.
Yeah.
I mean, basically all we know about her is that her parents disowned her when she got pregnant when she was a teenager.
Yep.
And then she moved to California for presumably that same guy, and now they're not together.
Yeah. Rough.
And she had to give away the baby when she was a teen. Like, that can't be easy.
No.
I don't imagine that's easy.
And then thinking that this is the one way that you're going to be able to have enough money to go to school, which is in theory the way that you get out of poverty. Go up the social or economic ladder.
It seems like she's in a really, really desperate spot.
Yeah.
And it was hard not to feel bad for her. The other thing that I took into account is, wow, being pregnant looks really, really hard. Like, I knew that instinctively, but I've never really spent an entire movie length going through all the ups and downs of it.
Right.
Seems tough.
Yeah. I took away, and we alluded to it already, don't use we. If I do ever, have a kid, don't
God
use
help
we.
us. I hope that never happens.
God help us. But if I do, don't use we, because it's not we. I am helping. I'm doing everything that I can to help, but it's not we, because that's minimizing what she's doing. The Herculean effort that she's putting forth. I'm not doing shit. I'm waking up because of something else. She's waking up because there's a human body moving inside of her and it hurts. So yeah, anyways. So now I honestly don't know if I have a recipient for this award. I honestly don't. Actually, no, I've got one more thing before we get to that. If there was someone in this movie, who would it be? Or if there was someone in this movie that you would want to be, who would it be?
I would want to have the courage of the coffee shop guy to be like, fuck you and fuck everybody here. I wish I could have done that once in my service career. But if not him, I mean, Ed Helms is the only one doing all right in this movie. Everybody else has a lot of shit going on.
What about just like someone benign like Carson? His stepdad.
Yeah, I don't know if that, but see, Carson's married to that really like she doesn't seem like she's very nice. She seems like kind kind of mean. So
That's a
I
good
don't know that I
point.
want to be married to her.
Yeah. Or how about, you know what? How about the kid?
The kid.
Yeah. You got Ed Helms as a dad.
Ed Helms is a moron. His character in this movie is a moron. I wouldn't want that guy as my only parent, my only lifeline. That guy seems like he's incapable of anything.
It's a good point. Yeah, I honestly don't have a recipient because, or I don't have someone who I would want to be in this movie. I wouldn't want to be any of these people because they're either miserable or in just a really hard spot or they're an idiot. So there's no really well-rounded people in this movie. So nobody. Anything else before we get to Ted Cruz?
Trying to think. I think we got it all. I mean, the Reaganomics comment. I've never been brutalized. This is the first movie we've done where they seen. Where it wasn't even a drive-by. Like they saw us, they ran at us, and they shot us in the back of the head.
Yeah, we had a hit on us and we got killed as though we were a dog in that scene. We really did. So without further ado, the Ted Cruz Go Fuck Yourself award for the person that if you could choose to punch directly in the face. And by the way, there's a new wrinkle that I'm going to add to it. So not only do we need to name the person, but then I have a question afterwards. So pick the person, and then I have an additional question. It's going to be a fun wrinkle. So Tim, who's getting the Ted Cruz award?
Her parents. And it's not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah.
I will never in my life understand parents who see their child going through hell and their reaction is go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'll never get that for as long as I live. And it says more about the parents than it does about the kid. I don't care what that kid did, especially when it's something like this. Okay. Yeah. And your reaction is just you're on your own. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, seriously, what is wrong with you? Like, I actually really strongly dislike those people.
Yeah. So mine are unfortunately the same. Mine's unfortunately the same. And I hate it when we agree on this award.
There's nobody else to say that to in this movie.
There's nobody else. It's her parents, and it's not even close. So now, the wrinkle. If given the opportunity to punch her parents or to punch Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. Because here's the thing. I only know one thing about her parents, and it's really, really shitty.
So you're saying don't judge a person based on their worst day?
No. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that every single day that Ted Cruz lives and breathes and opens his mouth to say stupid shit makes me want to punch him even more.
Yes. See, and I'm excited to do this bit every time because this is going to be something that, keeps going forward. And I can't wait to build up the bit to where just every single time we would rather punch Ted Cruz in the face because obviously the award's named after him. But I'm really gonna hope that one of these times we do watch a movie where there is a character in said movie that actually gives Ted Cruz a run for his money.
I mean, maybe the guy that killed John Wick's dog. I mean, that would be up there. I'd have to do some.
Yeah, but he got his.
This.
He got his though.
I know. But like in terms of like punch him in the face while he's alive, like I mean, I'd want to punch him in the face while he's alive. I don't even know if I'd want to punch him more than Ted Cruz. I don't fucking know Keanu Reeves. Ted Cruz is actively lying to half of the country on a regular basis. Like, that's pretty tough to top.
That's a good point. So we'll have to think on that for which movie we're going to see if we can find a character that we hate more than Ted Cruz. So anyways, Tim.
Yep.
So the movie ends, they have a kid. And since you're such the dedicated podcast host that you are, you left when I started talking about the end of the movie. I'll just sum it up for you so that I can get your reaction real quick. I said, when the baby comes out, the look on her face is more of relief and then more of accomplishment and more of this is over. Like, what do you think happens in there? Like, do you think the life trajectory that they are currently both on is where they continue to go down? Meaning, do you think she goes to school, does that whole thing, and Ed Helms has the kid, stays single, and, you know?
Oh, Ed Helms definitely stays single. That guy has no game whatsoever. As far as her and her reaction,
Yeah.
I don't, obviously it was not the case in this movie, but generally speaking, with those contracts, there is a clause that it has to be a viable pregnancy and the baby has to come out alive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, this whole time she's going through something very stressful, and I can only imagine how hard that is on her body. But when it's finally over,
that, yeah.
But when it's finally over, she knows, like, I'm going to college. I'm not going to have to do this again. I'm not going to have to be in this situation forever. I'm going to make a better life for myself. Right. And yeah, I mean, being pregnant doesn't seem fun.
No.
Like, it seems really, really hard, and you can't do a lot of stuff, and stuff always hurts. And yeah, I mean, I imagine that it's a huge relief, especially when it's not your kid. And she clearly feels some attachment to Lamp, but I don't think that, obviously, she doesn't feel like the normal attachment that would push a woman to go through this process. Right. And not just like hate every waking moment of it.
Yeah. So, did you like the movie?
You know, I weirdly did. I don't think this movie's getting any Oscar buzz or anything like that towards the end. No. But when I watch this movie, I'm so sick and tired of people doing why don't people make small budget films anymore? I'm so sick of it, because they do. People just don't watch them as much anymore. Like, they're still cranking out these movies all the time. This is the kind of stuff that people bitch they don't make anymore. Yep. And it's like, no, they still do it. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
they're just not on a billboard because
we've had a whole year of no movies. So people have kind of forgotten this, but there are other movies besides superhero movies out there.
Yeah. Like
it's just, it's
like
such
a lot of the ones that we've done.
Everything's, yeah, no, it's like everything's a superhero movie. No, it's not. There's a lot of other shit out there. This movie is not Oscar bait. It's just a good, solid 2 hours with some good acting and some pretty good writing and some funny moments. And I may watch it again down the line. I probably won't, but it was a good hang for 2 hours. And that's what movies essentially are.
It was it was entertaining. It was a good hang. Any time that I can spend with Ed Helms, I love Ed Helms.
I learned something. I learned shit.
Learned some stuff. So, you know, it was all good. Now, Tim, so we're obviously doing, as we said at the top, we're obviously doing draft day next. Yep. But I believe it's my turn to pick next, correct?
I believe so. And there may be more than one podcast next week. So this may be you know, the movie we do next week. So
yeah, well, so watch this space, but I'd like to announce that everyone's going to get to meet the writer, lead singer of Elvis Monroe, of our intro and outro music, Brian Hopkins of Elvis Monroe. He's going to zoom in from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's going to be great. I can't wait to talk to Brian. You know, it's going to be good to have two of my top 3 favorite roommates on the pod. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But Almost Famous, we're going to do that. So make sure you watch that. Make sure you guys watch Almost Famous and Draft Day. 2 very different movies.
Couldn't be more different.
And of very different quality. And a very different entertainment value. Equally as star-studded, though. I will say, equally as star-studded. There's a lot of people in both of these movies. So, I'm looking forward to that. Tim, do you have anything to say?
Do I have anything? Is this like my final words? I mean,
yeah, no, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, you name it. Same handle everywhere. It's at LeDuc32. That's at TLEDUC32. Tony, are you still on Instagram or what?
Yes, I am. So it's at TFelix3412. That's the same everywhere. And start looking out for a certain. I don't know. There's some rumors going around that there's going to be a TikTok account by the name of Tim and Tony Pod. I don't know. Them you might start seeing some highlight clips from. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Maybe some like teasers for the next episode. I don't know. I'll have to make sure I talk to my sources. Producer Chris might have something to do about it. I might have something to do about it. Who knows? Tim definitely doesn't have anything to do with it. So, but we'll see. There's some rumors. So in the coming days, you might want to do a little search on TikTok for Tim and Tony Pod. Might be exciting. You might find what you like there. Or you might like what you find there. There we go. I know how to speak English. So, without further ado, thank you guys so much for listening. And again, use those promo codes. We got Bucked Up, as the YouTube audience sees. We've got Bucked Up, TANDT 20. That'll get you 20% off any order from Bucked Up. And those are all caps, TANDT 20. And then for Tydal Wear, it is virtually the same promo code. So I don't want to hear that we're making it confusing on people. TANDT 15 gets you 15% off their entire store. And buy their entire store. That would be great. Buy everything that they have. They've got great stuff. All of it. I've heard that the female products are great as well that they have on there. Don't know. Haven't worn them. But
probably won't be wearing them.
Yeah, probably won't.
But we'll they look great.
Yeah, we'll see. Great. They look great. The male products, they're fantastic. Can't wait. Can't wait to see everyone wearing it. So that's TANDT 15, all caps. Use it, buy it. Tell us how you think about the pod, about the products, all that good stuff. Tim, about life. You could send us some of your own limbo lessons that you're learning. Be great. And without further ado, Ted Cruz, please do us all a favor. And sincerely from the Tim and Tony Pod, go fuck yourself. Elvis Monroe, please play us out.
One day, someday, fiction girl. She's my one day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Gotta have her, gonna call her baby. One day, someday. She's gonna call me baby, gonna have a family. I can see it in her eyes. Our future's so bright. Gonna wake up by your side. One day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Fiction girl. She's my one day, someday.